Welcome back to another wrestling tier list. This week we are putting into a tier list John Cena's greatest rivals. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
We are your boys from the Crossbody of Work podcast. And of course, John Cena is on his retirement tour in 2025. And to honor that, we are looking at his greatest rivals and putting them in a tier list. Now, when it comes to a tier list, we've done one of these already in terms of wrestlers' first ring names. You and I are of the same mind that there's only a couple that can be S. It should really like balloon around the B and C.
I'm always of the opinions with these things that there's really only like a finite, like you can only have like a couple at the top and a couple at the bottom, and then in the middle, like that's where you really get your debates going.
Yeah, and it can be a little higher towards A, it can be a little higher towards D, depending on the thing, but
like there should be balance here.
There should be balance. Okay. Looking at the list, we have guys ranging from AJ Styles all the way to Triple H and everybody in between.
Yes.
Is there someone you want to start with to maybe put into the S tier? Do you want to defend an S tier right away?
I'm going to tell you right now, there is a clear-cut 3 for the S tier.
Okay, hit me with the first one.
That is it. The first is Edge. Edge is John Cena's greatest rival. It is like I feel like I shouldn't have to debate it.
Edge is the greatest foil for John Cena I've ever seen.
Yes,
the way perfect. The way his character, I don't know what Adam Copeland's opinions are on Jonathan Cena.
I think they're actually good friends.
I think they are friends. When he's the whole promo about how he hates you, very Meet the Grams. Like he's just like, I hate you, John Cena. I hate everything about you.
It's Euphoria. That's where it was. It was like, I hate. What is it? Something between love and hate. And let me tell you now, I'm the biggest hater.
I hate
the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
Edge has all that. He has all that on him. It's a perfect. It's the right foil for John Cena.
Yeah,
they made so much money during that time.
So much money. Like it truly was a special and personal feud that kind of just extended over a 3-year period. Like they had so many matches against each other for multiple different titles. Over I believe that the world heavyweight title got involved in there at one point.
Edge just couldn't get away from him. I feel like Edge really wanted to be away from him.
He had to go to SmackDown to get away from him. It's just, and then even then they eventually got to like a fatal 4-way situation, and that's kind of I think where we end up getting that I hate you promo, which to me is not only Edge's greatest promo, it's like one of the best promos of the 2000s overall.
It's one of my favorites. All right,
it's so personal.
I want to save the other 2 S tiers for now. I want to throw somebody else in there, and you tell me where you think they go. Where do you think the leader of the Nexus, Wade Barrett, belongs?
See, I am of the opinion that the Wade Barrett / Nexus and John Cena feud is like, it's like when record labels really want to make this one singer or artist very popular, so they like kind of inflate they kind of inflate the numbers. They skew them a little bit, try to make it look good. Like I never felt the heat there with the Wade Barrett stuff, you know, like, and it fizzled out so quickly because he never got anything. Like he never got anything on Cena. Like sure, Cena had to join the Nexus and all this stuff, but it was always like some bullshit. Like Edge has wins over Cena. Like a lot of these guys have wins over Cena, and they didn't need other people to get there. Like yes, they did it by nefarious means, but like Edge cashed in Money in the Bank on a broken and beaten Cena and took his title at a point where Cena was super Cena. Like he had been on his first run with the title, and we didn't know when the hell he was going to drop it and all this stuff. And it's on the build up to WrestleMania, and like it was like this whole crazy situation. And they obviously got really personal and all this stuff. Like the Wade Barrett feud was like, they're kind of just trying to build a new top heel, but it's not really working.
And they're never going to pull the trigger. They're never going to do it.
Never pulled the trigger. And for that, personally, I would say he's at the C tier. I have to put him at C because we did get like there was an extended build to it, to their feud. Like they did have an extended run. So I have to give it some credit for that, but I can't envision it going any higher than that.
How about the man that he beat for the United States Championship at WrestleMania 20, The Big Show? He also had a WrestleMania triple threat match against him and Edge.
I know. And here's where it gets a little little iffy for me with Show. Like, yes, it is. Him and Cena had that match at WrestleMania 20, and it is like a defining moment in John Cena's career. It's the first time he won a title.
Yeah.
Um, and they had another WrestleMania title match. Obviously, Edge was in there as well. They've had many different little mini programs. Hell, you can think about the Authority angle that happened. How did
Yeah,
Big Show turn? He punched John Cena in the face.
that's true.
Um, all this stuff. Like, yes, I can understand all of that, but my issue is that there just was never a whole lot there. I felt like Show was always like a character that was involved in a greater Cena story. You know what I mean? Like, the
That's fair.
story was Cena and Edge. It wasn't Cena, Edge, and Big Show.
Yeah.
It was always like the US title feud was really the first one, and even that was just like a weird rushed mid card story. Like, I felt like there was more heat between Show and Cody for the IC belt that would happen later on, more than there was for Show and Cena for that US belt. And for that alone, I think I might have to put him in like the DF tier. I'll let you decide which one
We'll,
of those two,
we'll
but
put him
he's
in
in one of
D
those two.
tier. We'll put him in D tier for now, and then we'll revisit if needed. All right. Tell me who else is going S tier.
We're getting Randy Orton up there, man. Like,
Okay.
no notes. We cannot like question it. Like, Cena is Orton's greatest rival, and Orton, in my opinion, is Cena's third greatest rival.
I think it's funny because it's like that sound you hear on TikTok where it's like, yeah, and like we're best friends. Like, oh, that's good for you. Like, I'm definitely your best friend. Like, because yeah, Cena's definitely Randy's greatest rival, but it's like, is Randy Cena's greatest rival? Probably not.
Yeah. Look, he is so good. Is our Orton is so good, and he really, like, the story between those two lasted so long. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
longevity's sake alone, they kind of have to be in each other's S
Yeah.
tiers. Because it happened like there was the million matches between 2007 and 2008. Then there was that brief stint in 2009. Then there was the callbacks in 2013 through like 2015. And even sprinkle some stuff, like they were both in that elimination chamber in 2017, stuff like that. Um, I hope that they come back to it eventually. Cena's last run here, and they do end up having a match together. It's likely that they do, just because
Yeah.
you kind of have to. But at the same time, like, just for longevity's sake, there was a lot of heat between them in those stories. I know it was like my argument with Big Show was never the main focus of a Cena story, really. And I get that the one that people remember is that 2013 to 2015 range when it was Cena against the Authority. But at the same time, like, you can't discount the stuff that happened in the mid to late 2000s. You just can't.
Yeah.
And for that
It still
alone,
counts.
I think that there's so much there with them. It has to be S tier.
I would like you to rank Rusev among his rivals.
This is hard because this is a quick one.
This was a quick one, and it was good. It was, aside from the flag match, there's no such thing as a good flag match. But
Yeah. Um, there's not a whole lot of meat on that
there's not
bone.
enough there.
And like, that's my issue here. Like, you look at some of the names here. I don't know if you were going to make it visible for everyone
Oh yeah,
when
everybody
you
can see it.
upload
Yeah.
it. Okay, you look at the names here. Like, he's probably the shortest. I can't think of, there may be one or two here. Like, we're looking at down here at Umaga and like maybe Jericho, but I think we get around to Jericho again later on.
Yeah.
So I think Rusev might be the shortest of the bunch here. And like, for that alone, I've got to, like, there's a lot to it, and I loved it. But and I think their WrestleMania match is fun. I thought their feud was really interesting. But I just can't justify putting him anywhere higher than like a D. Just
I
for
think
that
you're
alone.
right.
Like,
I think you're right.
because we got to think, like, look at all these names here. Like, I can't justify putting Rusev over most of these
Yeah.
names.
How about somebody I know you don't love, but was instrumental in one of John's biggest moments, which is JBL?
Fuck this guy. No, JBL was the perfect foil for Cena at that time.
Yeah, of course.
In that main event run, it let the WrestleMania match wasn't great, but the moment was. And then the follow up at Judgment Day was fucking
Was
incredible.
brutal. Yeah.
What is it? It was an I Quit match, wasn't it?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
That was a brutal match. Cena was gushing blood. Like, the entire build up to it. Cena lost his U.S. title to Orlando Jordan because of it. Like,
Oof.
It was so good. Again, like I can't justify the JBL thing when those having legs when it was only a few months longer than Rusev and it was never revisited after.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, like impact matters to me personally, and the impact of that first title run and really establishing Cena as a main event player because that's what JBL did.
Yeah.
I, I gotta put him at like a B.
JBL in the B. B for Bradshaw. All right, let's go to a more modern rival. Let's go with Seth Rollins.
This was a feud that I loved, truly.
Yeah.
Like so many great matches together, all this stuff. But I never thought that the feud was between the two of them. It
No, it was
was
between the
never
Authority
between the
and
two of
John
them.
Cena.
And for that alone, I've got to knock it a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, I cannot discount how good the how good the matches were, and the fact that Seth Rollins got wins,
Yeah.
multiple over John Cena
One of them
during
involved
that time period.
Jon Stewart, but
Counts, man. He beat him at SummerSlam. Like they had multiple wins. He has multiple wins on the board against John Cena, and for that
yeah.
alone, like you got to push him up here because not that many people do.
What
Um,
tier are you thinking?
I think Seth Rollins might be a no. This is hard, man. I think Seth Rollins might be a B. I'm
I
gonna
think
give him
he's
a
a
B.
B. I think he's a
I'm
B.
gonna give him a B.
All right. Let's go to a guy who starts with B.
Oh,
Batista.
oh, now we're cooking.
Couple
Now
of
we're cooking.
different iterations of this feud, and like it's weird because
Yes.
I think the thing people think about most when it comes to John Cena Batista is probably a one-off, which was the ending of the '05 Rumble, where the accident where they both fell over the ropes at the same time. Like people obviously they have their other feuds, but I think like their brains. If you think of John Cena Batista, if you're a wrestling fan, the first thing you think of is, oh yeah, they both went over the top in 2005.
Yeah. This is an incredible feud. In my mind, I was like, "Oh, this has to be an A." But now that I'm thinking about it, man, I'm looking around here. There's gonna be a lot of people
In the A and B.
who are gonna be in the A and B tier, and are gonna have better arguments than
Yes,
Batista. I
and
can't get ahead of
more
myself.
revisited feuds. I think.
Yes, and I can't get ahead of myself on that because I do believe wholly that the Batista feud was excellent, but at the same time, I can't. It's a personal favorite of mine. Like it's one of those that I hold very near and dear to my heart because I love Batista as well. But I think for the longevity, like which it's not super long. The matches were solid, but not like super great.
Not earth shattering, no.
Like a lot of it kind of did feel like a manufactured hatred more than anything, and for that alone, I think I'm gonna have to put him in the C tier.
Wow, I thought you were gonna go B at least.
Because can't, man, look at some of these names. I can't go any higher than that.
All right. Is there anyone, I want to throw this out there, is there anyone that you think belongs in the F tier, or are we avoiding the F tier today?
Oh, no. Kane, where are you? Where's Kane?
Kane's in the F tier.
Immediately.
There you go. There you go. Rise above
Immediately in the
hate.
F tier. Can you tell me right now, tell me one match that John Cena had against Kane?
They had the Rise above hate storyline, and they had the he was in the Authority as the director of operations.
And that's all that's all that needs to be said. Immediately in the F tier.
Yeah,
Immediately in the F tier.
that's fair. That's
If Big Show's getting the bump because he gave Cena a WrestleMania moment, Kane's got to be down there because Kane gave him nothing.
You're right. You're right. All right. How about a guy who made his main roster debut against John Cena, Canadian icon Kevin Owens?
Talk about being the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you dress. That
Kevin
is
Owens
a man.
came in and was just spitting vitriol immediately.
Listen, there is another person that's going to make the S tier who was the complete opposite of John Cena. Kevin Owens truly was the complete opposite of John Cena.
Yeah.
Completely different routes to get to the top, completely different looks, completely different styles. Like, Cena, yeah, he was an OVW, but he did not come in as a wrestler. All Kevin Owens had was being a wrestler, and
Yep.
then he talked shit, and he just like It's like, just look at the aesthetics alone. Like, these guys are polar opposites of each other, and the feud was so deep and personal. And Kevin Owens was just like, I freaking hate you.
Hmm.
I am better than you. I'm going to beat you. And then he does, clean.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cena gets his lick back, but man, like, it's an incredible thing, an incredible feud. Um,
Where you putting them?
Again, I've got to look at the people around here, but I think for like the fact that these two guys were just so compatible in the way that they were, I think Kevin Owens has to be a B.
A B tier for Kevin Owens. Okay.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna
Is
pick the next one. This
You
one's
pick the
me
next
now,
one. Go for it.
and I'm gonna have you be the one that actually
Oh
deliberates
no,
this.
no. This
This
is your
one's
you
no, no,
as
no,
the
no, no.
John
I
Cena lover.
understand.
This is
I
your list.
understand. But this is one that you will be just as qualified to talk about as I am.
Sure.
Where are we putting Kurt Angle, Evan?
Whew. Okay.
It's
So
hard. It's really hard because
y-
it's early Cena,
your favorite wrestler versus my favorite wrestler,
but
right?
it's really important to Cena's career.
It is really important, but it also isn't revisited because Kurt eventually like leaves pretty soon after the ascent of John Cena.
Yeah.
I think it is at the bottom of C tier probably
Mm,
because of his establishment. I think that it's more important probably than Big Show and Rusev as like Kurt Angle
yeah.
was one of his like main event level guys, and it was like Kurt was the guy for a while on
Yeah. He
SmackDown.
was, especially in that time period.
He
He
would,
absolutely was the guy.
I think it's either the top of D tier or the bottom of C tier because it's just not enough to it.
Oh, were we allowed to rank them? Is that like a thing
I've been
here?
kind of putting them in some form of order in here. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't know
yeah,
that was fine. You know, I'm gonna let you cook on that. I'm just gonna put it there.
yeah.
I put it at the bottom of C. I'll give him
Bottom of
that.
C.
I'll give him
That's
that
fair.
much. To be fair.
Okay, we've got about 10 guys left, I think, and I want
Yeah.
to know where you think his feud with the tribal chief
Oh,
Roman Reigns belongs.
but it's more than the tribal
It's more than
chief
the
Roman
tribal chief.
Reigns,
Yes.
which is very important to mention here. This is where it gets a little controversial for me.
Okay.
I don't think this is as big as people make it. Um,
John Cena
Cena,
did specifically the tribal chief section. We'll talk about that first. I think that John Cena at that point was brought in, and nobody thought he really could beat him. Like there was nobody
yeah,
really thought like, oh, John Cena's going to come in and win his 17th title off Roman Reigns. I really don't think so.
nobody thought that.
No.
Not a single soul. And when they had their match at whatever was it, No Mercy 2017, the one where Cena
Yes.
cooked him in the build, and then
Yeah.
Roman came back and got his lick in the match. Like, no one thought Cena was probably going to win that either. Um, so it's like Cena never beat Roman Reigns. Never. He has never beaten Roman Reigns, which is fine and all, but like we also I think that their feuds were hurt by when they happened.
Yes.
Because one happened when it was too early,
Yeah.
and the other was too late. So we get to a point where like there was like there had to have been a time period before Roman was this unstoppable force,
Yeah.
but after he was still this guy who was working on himself to get to that level where he could be really truly a top guy, and that they had to collide, but that just never happened. And for that, I'm sorry, people. This is my controversial take here. Roman's a D.
Damn.
He's top of it, but he's in there.
Top of D tier. Okay, you got it.
That's where I'm
A
putting him.
tier has nobody in it. I need you to put somebody in A tier right now.
Brock Lesnar, where are you?
Oh, that is exactly who I thought would be an A tier.
Brock Lesnar, where are you? A feud that lasted years.
Years.
Years. My ring light or my light just went out. Just for the people who are watching this.
Just like how Cena's lights went out at
'Cause
SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar.
Yes, the lights went out. It's a feud that started John Cena's ascent to the main event. It was him with Brock. I think they might have had a pay-per-view match. If not, they definitely main evented a SmackDown.
Well, they were also in
Um,
that Survivor Series match together.
yes, they were in the Brock versus Angle Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
Cena was a part of Team Angle on that, which I guess also adds on to the Kurt Angle legacy that he's got going here. I am a big, big fan of anything involving Brock and Cena, whether that be the first go around, when Cena clearly was just a name on the up and up, but Brock was the guy, or whether it was Brock's return in 2012 when he got beat by Cena, but that was a bloody mess of a match. That was awesome.
The match we're
Um,
thinking of is Brock
Extreme
defended
Rules.
well, no, the
Oh
that first early match was Brock defending the WWE Heavyweight title against Cena at Backlash '03.
yeah,
Yeah.
hell of a match. And my thing is, like, for as great as it was, what was the meat of the feud? Like,
Okay.
the reason why I don't think Brock gets put into the S tier is because Brock's return came, and the thing was, Brock, I have to beat you before you destroy WWE because you're so dominant.
Yeah.
But Brock ended up just becoming dominant, even though he lost
Anyways,
that feud.
yeah. Also, I
Um,
think that the decision for Brock to lose the Extreme Rules match, like the first one back, was dumb, and that also hurts the feud in the long term.
yeah. Yeah, and they had like, it's up here because they had some incredible matches. The 2012 Extreme Rules match, the triple threat with Rollins in there. They like it. There's so much good stuff between these two. I hope they never run it back because I don't
No,
need that for Cena in
I don't
his
want John
last
Cena
year.
to get hurt. No.
But like, there's so much here. These were the two guys, same class
OV
in OVW. There's so much meat to that bone. They just never really got to the depth of it, as
There's
far as
nothing.
the storyline
I
goes.
feel like
So
there's nothing personal between them. You know what I mean?
yeah, there isn't, and that's
Yeah.
why it's an A tier feud and not an S tier feud for
All
me
right.
personally.
Let's go with somebody who I feel like makes everything personal. Mike Mizanin, The Miz.
Um, for me, this is an A tier feud,
Okay.
but I think we might have to have some deliberation here because for as good as the feud as it was personally,
Mm-hmm.
which this is like the inverse of some of these guys, where as
Yes.
good as it was personally, the matches weren't. They weren't.
No, no. Like the WrestleMania 27 main event is bad.
And also the WrestleMania intergender match, tag match was not good.
Yeah, but
Um,
the lead up to it was incredible.
Yes, and there was so much good stuff there. The promos were incredible. Miz is truly, aside from CM Punk, Miz is the best promo that Cena ever went up against. As far as, like, sorry, I don't mean like overall, like,
Yeah.
good on the mic. The Rock is here. I'm not saying Miz is better than The Rock at promos. I'm talking about giving it back to John
Okay.
Cena.
Yeah.
I think CM Punk is number one on that front, and then Miz is right there with him. Miz fucking lit his man up on fire many a times.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why I put him in A tier was just because of that. Like, no one gets there with Cena. That like rivalries are so much more than just what happens in the ring.
Yeah.
There's promos, there's personal stuff, there's all this stuff. And for all the reasons outside of what happens between bells, I'm going to say The Miz is an A tier.
Also, I'm really excited for people to see this because you'll see it on the screen as this happened. I just got fucking jump scared by a Sephora ad on this tier list page, and had to mute it and mute the thing. So
Oh,
enjoy
no.
that because that scared the ever loving shit out of me while you were waxing poetic about the Miz. So
I have the
wow,
tier tab open, so I can't see your face, so I missed that. I'm going to have to look
wow,
at that
that
when this
was
video drops.
I hated that. All right, um, back to what we were fucking doing. Where does Chris Jericho land?
This is another interesting one because it's early Cena, but it's early in his title run, and it's the first feud he has, I believe, in his title. It's him or Christian. I can't remember which one exactly. But also they had a feud pre-title Cena. There was a SummerSlam match, I want to say, between the two. It was like Cena's first real singles feud after post his debut was Chris Jericho. People don't remember that, but I do.
I don't remember that either. Yeah.
um it's really good. It's really it's good stuff, but it's too early in Cena's run, and we don't get them really mixed up together during Jericho's incredible 2008 into 2009 heel run, which is unfortunate. um so I that knocks it a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I would put it
Oh
around
well,
where
no.
Kurt Angle
Cena
is.
wins the world heavyweight title off of Jericho in 2008 at Survivor Series.
I have no recollection of that, and for that alone, I'm putting it above Angle,
Okay,
but it's in the Angle tier. It's in that C.
that's C tier. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. How about the late great Bray Wyatt?
Oh man.
Because this one again, a
Um,
lot of substance, a lot of stuff to
lot
it.
of stuff, so much stuff, but this is the unfortunate victim of a Cena, Super Cena.
Cena can't lose. Yeah,
Yeah, which isn't. It's not. I'm not gonna blame Cena for this. I'm gonna blame Vince McMahon for it. To be fair,
don't get me wrong. I love blaming Vince McMahon for things.
we get the incredible send off with the Firefly Funhouse
Mm-hmm.
for them. It's unfortunate that we'll never be able to get it again because it would have been so cool to have during Cena's final run, see what they could have cooked up together.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really it's sad. I think like I can't make that argument for Miz the way I did and not make the same one for Wyatt. I don't think it's as up there as Miz, so I'm not going to put him in the A tier, but I will put him at the end of the B tier.
End of the B tier. Okay. End of the B tier for Bray Wyatt. We're down to our final 6. Let's talk about a guy I love. Let's talk about Umaga. It's a one-off thing. It's a
Yeah,
great match. It's the last man standing match. It can't be higher than D.
I'm not even going to put it there. I'm sorry. This is an F for me. It's above
Wow.
Kane, but
Wow.
there's nothing there, man. There's nothing there.
It's the first great John Cena match, and I won't hear otherwise.
Sure, man. But at the same time, like,
I know. I'm
are we
just
really going to vault that into the Roman Reigns Big Show discussion off of
no.
one match? There's nothing there.
You're right. You're right. All right. There's 5 guys left. I think people at home, if they're watching, are wondering which of these 5 guys belongs in the S tier. Tell me which it is. Is it
I don't think they're
Styles,
wondering at all.
Michaels, Punk, Rock, or Triple H? Who goes in the S tier
It's CM Punk. He
with a
is number
bullet?
2 with a bullet, in my opinion, not for everybody. I think some people will put him as the number 1 in the S tier.
Yeah.
I put him at number 2. For me, it's Edge, Punk, and Orton, in that order. And there's so much to this feud. Like like I said, there aren't many people who made it personal with Cena, and had the stuff off of the outside of the two bells.
Mm-hmm.
Punk was certainly one of them in
Yeah.
every facet of it. And the feud went for years. People don't realize, like, we always think about Money in the Bank. They had one of the best Raw matches of all time during that. I think it's Raw one,
Raw 1000. Yeah.
or the Power Driver match, whenever that Power Driver match was. Um,
That pile driver. I remember I wasn't watching at the time, but my brother was, and he was just like, "CM Punk hit a pile driver on John Cena." I was like, "What?"
yeah, it was a hell of a match. They have a SummerSlam match together that was really good. Like, there's so much there between these two guys, and I really hope they revisit it during this final run for Cena because I would love to see it, and clearly Punk wants it as well.
Yeah.
Um, it's an S tier for everything, like the personal, the promos, the matches were great. All of it really was like he truly is, as far as polar opposite foils go for Cena, he's number 1 with a bullet. I just think that there was more substance, and it came like with Edge, there was more substance as far as why there was an hatred for
Mm-hmm.
between both men. And also like it came at the perfect time for both of those guys, where like they're really starting their runs in the main event and they needed each other. I
It's
don't
true.
think Cena needed Punk as much as Punk needed Cena, but I think there was just a like there was a chemistry between those two that Cena hasn't had with anyone else.
Where does AJ Styles rank?
This one's hard, man. This one's really really
I,
hard.
I have a gut instinct.
Like my everything is telling me throw him in the A,
Yeah.
throw him in the A, and don't think about it
Yeah.
twice. But at the same time, ugh, like some of these guys that are going into the A tier, it's you know what, I will throw him in the A.
I
I'm gonna
think
put him there.
I think the in-ring quality alone is
I'm gonna
worth
put him there.
the A tier.
There's me to that too, because it's a TNA. I was an indie guy for so freaking long.
Yeah.
You are a puppet for the WWE system. I didn't get this opportunity because of guys like you
It's also
and
one of
all
the
this stuff.
best recent examples of Cena making somebody like obviously Styles is the main man in the eyes of like the hardcore
Yes.
fans like us. But for a casual who does not know TNA, Cena made AJ Styles a big fucking deal immediately, like through their feud.
Like that. It
Yeah.
was great. It's awesome. And I loved it. And I'm gonna put him at the bottom of the A tier,
Okay.
but it was border. It was border for me. The match qualities were amazing, and that's what I think tips it over the top for me. But I can't, as far as rivalries go, I can't put that over the Miz or Brock.
We've got 3 left. Shawn
Start,
Michaels,
man.
The Rock, and Triple H. Of
Oh,
those, who goes highest?
ooh, ooh, interesting. Um, I think it's The Rock.
Because of the value of the
I think
once and
it's The
twice in a
Rock.
lifetime.
Yes, but at the same time, they're so like again, I have spoken about this a few times now with recent picks. Like it's the stuff outside of the ring,
Mm-hmm.
like the promos were electric, the moments, the matches were electric. Like Rock beat Cena clean.
Yeah, because of Cena's
um,
hubris.
yeah, and it's one of those things where it was really kind of a kink in the armor for John Cena at a time where we didn't know if he had any.
Yeah,
um, it's kind of nuts to think about in that way, but it's true. And for it's there's so many things with these two guys. I think the main thing is The Rock returned and he has a feud with John Cena. Like it is the top, is one of the top guys, if not the top guy for a while there in the Attitude Era, coming back and having a feud with our top guy.
yeah,
And it's a match that it was a dream. It's truly a dream match type of situation. And to throw it out there at that point, and to not only do it then, but run it back a year later. Uh, and hell, it's still happening to this day. We saw what happened at WrestleMania 40.
that's right.
Um,
So
it's
where
awesome.
where does Rock land? Is he in the A tier?
He is. He is the last name in the A tier for me
Is he
personally.
below Styles then?
I would put him below AJ Styles,
Okay.
but mm, I don't know about that one actually. I think you might have to be the judgment call
I
there.
think he should go behind Miz at least.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Y-
put him. I'll put him in front. I'll put him in front of AJ, but
Okay.
still in the A tier, personally.
Who you want first, Sean or Hunter?
I'm gonna do Sean. And this one's gonna be tough, but I think longevity matters. Personal stuff matters. All this stuff, like it matters. It's not just the establishing Cena as this guy who can really wrestle. All this stuff,
Yeah.
that matters. Yeah, but at the same time, like I need some there, and I don't know that there was a whole lot there. Like it's a forgettable WrestleMania match that gets eclipsed by an hour long match that they had on Raw. You
Yeah.
know, um, and aside from that, like can you give me the another match that they had together?
I don't think so. Aside
It's
from
just
those
that
two.
fatal four way, the Orton, Edge, Cena, and him one where he super kicks Cena onto I think it's Edge for the win.
Oh, and
There
the
was
is that the triple threat? Is that the one where he starts the match by super kicking Triple H, or is that the
that is
triple
another
threat?
that's a triple threat
That's the
between the two
triple
of
threat.
them.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like I say, man, like there's not a whole lot there. There was always multiple pieces to their stories. That they had a hell of a thing within that WrestleMania and post WrestleMania thing. But I'm putting it in the B. Um, I'm gonna put it a little higher because again, it makes sense. It's something that was important. I'm gonna put him right behind Seth Rollins.
Right behind Seth. So between Seth and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't put it. I can't justify putting it any higher than that. And then Triple H is our last name.
Yeah. Don't
There's
put F because of your personal hatred.
there's a lot here, um, but a lot of it was kind of in the peripherals. Like most of it came in the
The authority.
the authority stuff, and we never got a Cena Triple H match during that time. I think honestly, I can't even remember a Cena Triple H match, like one-on-one match aside of from their WrestleMania
I was
match.
going to say
Maybe even a follow-up
WrestleMania
to
might be
that.
the only real
Like, was their
one.
last match even like against each other? Or even like it might have just been like that triple threat with Shawn in it.
Their last
Um,
match against each other was at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I forgot about this.
we're putting him in the D. He's in the D tier. I'm gonna put him right next to Roman. I'll let you decide which side of Roman he goes on, but
I
I'm
think
putting him
I
right
think
next
he's
to
had
Roman.
more than he needs to be. He needs to be there. Like he's had a longer run against Triple H than Roman, so he's got to be there.
All
So
right, yeah.
our F tiers, Umaga and Kane. Our D tiers, Triple H, Roman Reigns, Big Show, and Rusev. Our C tiers, Jericho, Batista, Barrett, and Angle. B tier, JBL, Seth Rollins, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Owens, and Bray Wyatt. The A tier, Brock Lesnar, The Miz, The Rock, and AJ Styles. And of course, the coveted S tier of Edge, CM Punk, Randy Orton. I think you crushed this.
I do feel like I nailed this. I can't lie to you. People are gonna be so pissed that I put Jericho over Roman Reigns and Wade Barrett over Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Um,
And my
but
one
like,
Umaga truther will be out there being like, "You should be D tier."
no, but here's the thing, people. I need balance here. You know, like
It's
there's
true.
got to be balance
It's
here.
got a nice curve to it. It
For
makes
as
sense.
many A tiers as there's going to be for him, there's got to be just as many D tiers. Like it's just how
But I
it's
do
got to
like that it's
go.
slightly weighted to the good because there have been lots of good John Cena feuds. There's
Lots of good
slightly weighted
stuff.
to the good stuff. All right. That is our tier list for John Cena rivalries. Make sure you check out the podcast at Crossbody of Work on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as here on YouTube. Hit subscribe. We're on the road to 400 subscribers. Let us bring you all this cool stuff that we've got. We also got our podcast. We're in Haas month now. We're covering only the
Yes,
biggest of
sir.
boys. Check it out wherever you get podcasts or here on YouTube. Javier, where can people find you on social media?
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMelloSports. Lob the kid a follow. Just do it.
Lob me one too. Added Seven Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. Of course, most importantly, follow the podcast. If you want to cut some merch, check it out in the show link, the show notes below. And we'll be back soon to tier list some more things. We will
Yes,
talk
sir.
to you then.
Later, guys.